Hello everyone, welcome back to Marathon Me with your host Rhys.
Wait, hang on, what movie are we doing again?
We're doing the Paul Thomas Anderson movie, so we're up to the fourth one.
Okay, but
so
wait, the fourth one, what's the fourth one?
That's Punch Drunk Love, so there's like...
Well, how long is it?
That one, I think I have that in my notes. Do you, let's see, where are my notes? Do you have my notes?
No, why would I have your notes? Why would I have your notes, Rhys?
Oh, you usually have my notes and like bring them with you to
No, I don't. I have my own. You have your own. Anyways, what about the social post? What are we doing for that?
Oh, you didn't do the Magnolia ones? The Magnolia one was
wait. We did Magnolia?
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Here's the first movie.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Peel that pig and slice him thick.
The body count is always bigger.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
The fucking trees walked in those movies. Hi, doggy.
What a story, Mark.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
It's just like your opinion, man.
Life moves pretty fast.
If you want your sequel to become a franchise.
37 dicks.
In a row?
I'm your #1 fan.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Marathon Me with your hosts Rhys
and Kane.
And it feels like a while since we're back in the recording booth, but we are back with our PTA marathon. Now, post-Magnolia, after a massive mammoth that movie was, it feels like the PTA is going for something a little bit smaller, a little bit quieter, in this humble romance that is Punch Drunk Love.
I'll say he's literally going more small scale in terms of like the in terms of the world building and even like the runtime, man. Like this is like I don't want to go on a limb because I feel like Hard 8 might be the shorter one, but I feel like this might be his shortest film, I think. I
believe that this is shorter than Hard 8, and it's also less than half the length of Magnolia. You could
that's it. Like that's nuts.
You could watch Punch Drunk Love twice in a row and still have, I think, around 15 minutes of Magnolia left in that time.
Insane, man. My God.
Also, from like a cast of. In Magnolia, it was balancing something like close to 13 main central characters. In this one,
with some pretty big name actors as well. Yeah, there you go on.
And all with doing a lot of heavy lifting as well, and being very integral. Where this one, much more a character portrait. We have one central character. There's no mistaking who it is. It's this lovely man, Barry, who I like to think that he is being created to be the most insecure man in the world. One thing that I want to bring up right away is that in the last episode, when we were talking about Magnolia, you were saying that when we were breaking down all these different characters and we were talking about Jim and Claudia and their romance, you were like, I would watch a whole movie of just these guys. And you know what? I think this is essentially a whole movie of Jim and Claudia.
That's like, you're not wrong. Actually, we kind of got our little wish from the last episode. That's really nice. That's a nice thought, actually. Aw,
and just
I like that.
And just like the sources of all good wishes, this film is a bit of a modern fairy tale. And here's a bit of the trailer of Punch Drunk Love.
I'm sorry about that. I wanted to ask you something because you're a doctor, right? I don't like myself sometimes. Can you help me?
Mary, I'm a dentist. What kind of help do you think I can give you?
I'm gonna go and eat tomorrow night. Do you want to go with me?
I didn't ask for a shrink. That must have been somebody else. Also, that pudding isn't mine. Also, I'm wearing a suit today because I had a very important meeting this morning, and I don't have a crying problem.
Okay.
This is Barry.
Hey, baby, I guess we got disconnected before.
How did you get this number?
You canceled your credit card. I need you not to cancel your credit card, and I need you to up your limit.
4 blonde brothers came after me.
Fuck, where you going? We know where you live.
What's the problem?
One of your employees has been threatening me.
Shut up! Will you shut up? Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
I have a love in my life. It makes me stronger than anything you can imagine.
All right. That's that.
So, Kane, I know that this is one of the ones that you were the most familiar with from the Paul Thomas Anderson filmography, but Kane did, now revisiting it with a little bit more context for his style and all the films that he's made around it, what do you think of Punch Drunk Love?
Well, that's a good question, Rhys. Well, yes, as you stated before, I have seen... This is like one of the only 2 PTA films I had already seen before doing this marathon. I watched this I think, mid-2021. I, loved it back then. Really loved it. So I was very excited to kind of leap back in and see if maybe I'd get a bit more out of it or a little less, blah, 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 blah. I'll say this. This was a better upon a rewatch. This was incredible.
Oh,
this was incredible, and so it was needed at the time and place when I was watching it. It was a film that I just needed to watch in the current headspace that I was in a couple weeks ago, or about a month ago. It was just something that I needed to watch. You know what I mean?
I am glad. Was this potentially, this is pretty ambitious saying this, but you know how I was Boogie Nights could potentially change your life? Was this the PTA movie to change your life?
Change your life, that's an interesting phrase to use, but definitely one that I would say the phrase that I could use, it was the most kind of comforting movie I have seen from him so far. It brought me a sense of comfort, which is very funny because this is arguably one of the most stressful films I have ever had the pleasure of sitting down and watching, but it also brings just that a beautiful sense of comfort and warmth to myself,
Oh, how kind of Adam Sandler to reach his arms out and give you a little cuddle, give you a little embrace when you needed it the most.
I know. I will go out on look. I'll say this now. Just because I love stating this, is that I think that this as a vehicle for Adam Sandler's, Adam Sandler showing off his acting capabilities, I think this is a better showcase than Uncut Gems, personally, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I think Uncut Gems is incredible, but when I'm watching Uncut Gems, I still just see Adam Sandler doing the Adam Sandler thing. He's great in it, but I still just see Adam Sandler. In this, I said this before with all the other films that we've talked about, is that I don't, never, maybe there were 1 or 2 scenes, but for the most part, I never saw Adam Sandler playing a character. I just saw the character of Barry Egan. His last name was Egan, right?
Yeah. That is...
Yeah, all I saw was Barry Egan, and saw, to go out on a limb, I saw a lot of myself within this character, I'm not gonna lie.
Man, I wanted to ask that so badly. So I think that this character very much is a character that is meant to speak to people that are on the more anxious side of life. And if
completely.
If you are someone that built that sort of Harvard, you have contained in you a lot of anxiety, then there's going to be something that resonates with you with this character. And I was wondering if you felt the same thing. And that's, well, it's good to hear, but also, if when you hear that someone can relate to this man, it's almost like a nod at this dude, nodding from the other side of the room, I get you, man. I'm sorry, you also are a sufferer.
It's like a this is great, you can relate to it, but are you okay, man?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
But anyone that rates this 5 stars on Letterboxd probably needs therapy.
Completely. Completely, man.
It is one of those movies, but fuck, dude, it does hit hard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not even 90 minutes long, but is it a emotionally dense 90 minutes where
oh my god,
you feel so much. And also, before we get off the idea of the comparing this to, I think his name's Ernie, the main character in Uncut Gems that Adam Sandler plays.
No. Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, it's not Ernie. I don't remember. It's not Ernie, but I don't remember what his name is.
Oh, okay, maybe it's Hubie Halloween. Maybe that's his name. Yeah. But I reckon that like in Uncut Gems, I feel like his character does. For me, I don't really see Adam Sandler as much, and he becomes such a grounded character that I imagine that there's so many people that exist exactly like him. Where
I don't think it's a bad performance. I just can't help but just see a lot of Adam Sandler during certain scenes. But anyways, that's just my opinion.
No, that's fair. Where I feel like in this one though, what is potentially like it really depends on your preference of character, because for Barry Egan in this movie, I don't think that he is supposed to represent a grounded character. He's almost supposed to represent like this manifestation of like our worst idea of ourselves almost. And this of how we feel in our lowest, most anxious moments, even when we're not externally like that. Like I will meet people countless times again that will tell me that they're quite anxious people. And I can't help but think, like, really? You seem so seem so outgoing and comfortable in your own skin. And it's because anxiety is such an internal thing, right? That we can that requires such a mask to hide most of the time of how people deal with their anxiety. And this is almost like all of those pent up emotions being manifested into one character.
It's like Barry is like you said, a manifestation of like all the anxieties almost amplified to an extent. Yeah, amplified to turned up to 11 basically.
How good is this movie in injecting you into Barry's skin? Without a doubt, you are not in the. I feel like the world of this movie doesn't feel real, and you never feel like you are in the world as much. It more just feels like that you are in this person's brain. This is this is how.
God, that's. Oh, no, go on.
Like this is how this character sees the world. This is not how the world actually exists.
Oh, that's one thing that I loved upon a rewatch is just the look of the world, and the cinematography is fucking incredible. It is incredible because it is so because for the first half of this movie, there's virtually no color apart from just sterile whites and very dark drab blues. Just this uncomfortable world that I don't want to be in, but I'm stuck here, almost like Barry is to an extent, because we're in his brain, seeing the world how he sees it, and he doesn't see it in a very particularly positive light, which is reflected perfectly in like the way this movie's filmed and the use of color. It's fucking incredible, man. Oh my god, like noticing that on a rewatch, I adored it. Oh my god.
Totally. It's so uncomfortable to watch and be a part of this movie because there's so much noise in this man's life. He's so overwhelmed, and he's so overwhelmed by the world around him. And it's so interesting that you found this comforting, because his world is so uncomforting to him. It's so cold. That's it. He has so little warmth in his life. And that's through all of this like grey, blue hues and tones in his world. And then it makes it so intensely sweet and almost euphoric whenever he gets any warmth, whenever there's any warmth that intrudes into his life. And it sticks out like a sore thumb and is impossible not to notice because of how different it is to how he usually sees this world. So fucking good.
Oh my god, yeah, dude, so incredible. Just like whenever there's just whenever the color red is injected into this movie, because like once when Lena is eventually properly established in the film, and we start seeing the color, because the color red I feel is representative of her, and bringing in a sense of excitement, passion, comfort into Barry's life. Just seeing a different color is like is such like a such a comforting thing to. I never thought it'd be like something comforting to see in a film, but here we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's so symbolic of love in this man's world, right? And warmth, and you can see how afraid he is to let it in and let anyone in, because he's become so accustomed to like you don't really see him really freak out directly in until it's like people being let in to like beneath him and like under his skin. He's so comfortable with the chaos of his life almost that he's just like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And whenever it gets outside of the norm and he's sort of forced to be a little bit more vulnerable and then pushed that little bit too far, then he like goes on these outbursts sort of thing. I feel that even before Lena comes into the frame, there are these little nuggets of warmth and passion that come into his life, in the form of like when he discovers the piano for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, it's called a harmonium. I need to correct myself.
There we go. Because I was gonna ask like, hey, what was that actually called again? But yeah, okay, harmonium. Yeah.
So when he finds this harmonium, there's something so beautiful about the first time that he opens it up and starts playing it, and there's something.
Oh my god, yeah.
There's something so crazily intimate about his relationship with this fucking instrument, right?
Yeah.
I almost,
oh my god, yeah.
Like this is gonna sound so fucking wanky, but when he is like opening up the box and playing it and just like experimenting with these keys, it feels like that he's like making love to this harmonium, and and like and everything gets so much more quiet finally, and you don't hear, because you hear constant like diegetic audio in this thing that you can just like hear the wind and the background and get traffic going in front of this building, and you hear all of his footsteps crunch beneath him, and it's overwhelming, just the noises of the world. But then nothing exists besides the music when he starts actually playing this harmonium. And oh my god, that moment, a magical freaking moment.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Also, just like the facial expressions and like this like very subtle, silent excitement that Barry exudes while experimenting with the harmonium. It's just it's so fucking heartwarming to watch, man. My god.
To reel it back a little bit, because I realized that I didn't give explicitly my like opinions on this yet. Is that so? I actually watched this twice, or like rewatched this twice for the podcast, because I rewatched it with the girl that I'm dating at the moment, and I was like, this will be a good one to watch together because it's like this romance, and it's only 90 minutes, so easily sort of done. And by the end, when the credits rolled, my biggest thought was, is that it? Is that really it? And I really didn't like it. It was my least favorite viewing of this film by far. It did so little for me. And I was so unsatisfied by that, because every other time that I've watched it before, it hit so hard. One time I was coming down off of mushrooms and watched it, and holy god, it was like I was inside that movie when watching it in that state.
Were you with can I say his name?
Yeah.
Were you with Jacob when that was happening?
I was with Jacob and Dylan, and it was a beautiful, perfect movie for that state.
Because I was just gonna say, because like Jacob and I, like a couple weeks ago, we had a conversation about Punch Drunk Love. He told me he was on mushrooms, and I'm just like, Jesus, mate, why the fuck? Of all movies.
I had already seen it before, so I had a little bit of context, so it wasn't too scary. For Jacob, he described it as a fucking nightmare. Like, he thought, because he went into it as well, being like, oh, funny Adam Sandler movie, that'll be great.
Yeah. And then I'm just like, bro, that is like, what a way to experience that film for the first time. My god.
And then the moment that he like bashes the windows and the glass windows in his sister's house, Jacob I remember seeing him feel just this extreme disgust and discomfort in his own skin of just like, oh my god, he did that? Why did he do that? But anyway, so I was so upset that it did nothing for me. And I had it playing in my head of like, no, why did this happen? So a couple days afterwards, I sat down, just me, to fully tune into it and rewatch it again. And dude, I loved it again. I loved it hit so
baby.
much.
Fuck yeah.
And I think that because I watched it with this partner, and I'm gonna be really sappy here, that I was watching it with her, like, full of all this love for her. She's, like, lying down on my lap and stuff, and I'm like, this is... The film didn't really immerse me in his life as much, and then send me on the journey of him sort of jarringly discovering love again. And it's so powerful in this film when love is introduced into Barry's life. And because you long for it so much, the film gets you into a state where it conditions you to long for love, and then it gives it to you, and it feels so intense. Where I felt a little bit like it didn't really hit for me because I was in a room where I was already feeling all this love.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
So watching it by myself was really integral to the experience, and
definitely. No, I wholeheartedly agree, man, because I just love the contrast of first time you watching it for the podcast, you're watching it with your partner thingo, and then it's like, oh, this is nice, but I'm not really getting a lot of the movie meal on me. Like late at night, just like glued to the fucking screen, just like, feeling a bit, you're feeling a bit down the last couple of weeks, and just watching this, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it. It's like, oh my god, this is literally me. This is literally me. Fucking hell.
It is one of the. I totally understand where you're coming from, saying that this is a bit of like a comforting hug of a movie, because it makes you feel a little bit like, oh, I'm seen. This movie sees me.
Yes. Yes, that is a perfect way to summarize the movie, like, from my experience. Yes, like, it is, like, I'm watching this and I feel seen, I feel understood, and I like, not to jump too far ahead, but when, like, stuff starts getting good for Barry, after all the hardships and just this hellscape of a life that he's living, where it's just full of noise and just sensory overload and just nothing but just, shit putting him down, to see when life starts throwing him a bone and he can finally let his guard down, feel comfort and love again. It is something that when I see it, I'm like, yes, this is possible. This is achievable for anyone, even in like such an amplified circumstance like Barry. It is, you can achieve it.
Woo! That is good to hear, man. I'm so glad. See, maybe it did change your life. Who fucking knows? Maybe Adam Sandler put you on the right path.
It's getting there, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was doing shit for me, man. I'll tell you what, it was doing shit for me,
I am very, very glad to hear, dude. That makes me very happy.
Oh, hell yeah.
I have a question for you that...
Go on.
This was what, like, Palm and I were talking about after we first watched the movie, is that her reading of this film was pretty much like, oh, he's just neurodivergent, this man. He has autism, this character. And I didn't think that during the movie, during this first watch at all. And then I think that my opinion slightly changed on the rewatch. What do you have an opinion on that?
Oh, he totally is on the spectrum. He's definitely autistic coded in this movie. Like I see it through and through, man.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with you.
He is on, like, I'm not gonna, like, look, I don't want to go out on a limb and say, like, like, we're not talking about, like, full, like, whatever, like, not full Rain Man or the kid from The Predator kind of thing. But this does feel like a, like, real but also good portrayal of someone on the spectrum, where it isn't in your face, or it isn't like trying to, like, fucking play the sappy music to make us sympathize, like, oh, this poor person on the spectrum kind of thing. No, it's just there's just a person living this stressful life that just happens to be. It's not outright said, but it is, heavily implied that he is on the spectrum. And as someone who is also on said spectrum, watching some of these freakouts that he exudes throughout the movie, while I've never done anything as dramatic as smash a window with a hammer or mess up a restaurant bathroom, like that shit.
Come on, we've all been there. Like, not even once.
Not to that extent, but just those kinds of freakouts that he has. Felt way too close to home. Way too close to home to not at least be somewhat intentional when referencing, those kind of moments when, with some people, I don't want to say all, but some people in the spectrum, at least from my experience,
You are so correct that it's so integral that they don't explicitly say it. And that and that it's also, whether he is or isn't really important to the story and to this character. It's just that, he be all end all is just treated as a human being and an outsider. He is someone that doesn't feel like he is seen by anyone, and feels so different to how everyone else sort of seems to live their life, and he doesn't really get it, and he's sort of wondering constantly, what is it about me that's so different? And it doesn't matter what it is, if it is neurodivergency or anything, it just matters that someone will love you for this difference.
Yes.
And I adored something that, watching, I could watch. After watching it again in the same week, I was like, I could watch this again in 2 days. I think that I could watch this movie every week for the rest of my life, probably.
I could definitely. Well, for me, I definitely need a bit of a. I feel like I would need a break, but I do agree. I am on the same page as you, where I definitely would love to rewatch this very soon, kind of thing. But I feel like for me, because it hits a bit too close, it's something that I need to kind of take a bit of a break from before jumping back into it, kind of thing, This is
probably a symbol that I'm a little bit fucked in the head, but I am listening to this soundtrack on repeat in my life all the time.
I don't know how you can do, for the record, guys, he just told me about, listening to the soundtrack before we started recording, and it's a great soundtrack. I don't know how the fuck you can do that in the shower, dude. Bro, I'm listening to that shit. I'm tweaking out. I'm stressing out, man. Hey, kudos to you, man. But fucking hell, you need help.
I think I might, man, because I listen to it. I listen to it at work, and it motivates me to work faster. It's weird.
What?
It stimulates my brain to feel like, okay, I need to get a task done. I need to get this done,
right.
And it puts me in full grind mindset. It really does.
Okay. Interesting.
It's a little bit fucked up, and probably shows that I'm a little bit closer to Barry on the spectrum than I would think.
I like my fair share of loud, overbearing music at work, but to that extent, bro, that's something else, man. Bloody hell.
There's some beautiful sort of melodic sounds in this soundtrack. There's some beautiful things like that. There's even a couple of traditional Hawaiian songs in the soundtrack that randomly come on and give it a bit of a different beat to the rhythm of how it's all going. But I want to talk about a little bit about Lena, and who is played by Emily Watson, who both viewings of this movie, I am a little bit in astonishment of just how beautiful they make this woman. She is gorgeous, right?
Yes, that cannot be denied, man. My God.
And it is beautiful seeing at their first date how something that occurred to me on the second viewing was Lena is just as lonely as Barry is. Lena's always traveling for work. She never talks about friends really, other than the friend that is Barry's sister, and she seems to be as lonely living by herself. And when Barry and her go on this date together, and Barry is revealing a little bit of himself, telling a really sort of lame anecdote about a talkback radio thing that he heard that isn't really that funny, But you can see that he is finding it funny and enjoying sharing it with her, and you can see how much she is loving seeing him, and like it's almost like that she's piercing into his soul, and when he tells her about the whole putting frequent flyer miles exploit that he's figured out, her reaction where she goes, "You're insane," but says that with such endearment and with this lovely subtle smile that you can see that in that moment that she falls in love with him because of his eccentricities.
Yes.
It's, oh my god,
like,
beautiful.
Bro, yeah. No, yeah, dude, like I noticed it during my first viewing, but it's especially kind of harped on it, during the viewing this year, is that, like, you can just see just, like, this, like, how enamored and almost, like, the adoration in her eyes when just listening to Barry speak, and yeah, like you said, like, kind of, like, slowly, like, unraveling, opening up kind of thing. It is... Oh my god, alright, maybe not hypnotizing isn't the right word, but it's like, it's just so nice, you know, for lack of a better word. It's just such a nice, beautiful fucking just sequence to watch unfold, you know? Like, oh my god, like, you really just, you believe the fucking, like, just the love that in her eyes looking at Barry, you know? Like, oh my god.
And it's so important that she knows what a harmonium is, and that means so much to Barry. And I think that is the moment where he falls in love with her. When she reciprocates that she knows what a harmonium is, and in knowing that, communicates to him, "I see you." Because I think the harmonium is sort of a symbol for, like, his special interest. It's like something very niche, very specific, but he's connected to on such a deep level, and he can't really explain why, he just is. And yeah, he's completely hyperfixated on it, and having someone else share that with him means the world. Oh
my god, yeah, dude.
Beautiful.
Oh, like, it's so good, man. It's so fucking good. Oh my god.
And it's funny with you saying that it's hypnotic, because I feel like that there is something a little bit hypnotic in this film, in the way that, in the weird transitions and when the film opens and closes with this sort of aurora, this weird blue-pink synesthetic aurora thing that looks like putting emotions into a visual manifestation or something. And sometimes, like, and that is used to transition from scene to scene when very integral, important plot points are taking place. When Barry is changing as a person, that is what is sort of shown to communicate, like, things are different now. And there's something weirdly hypnotic about it, and I think that ties into how this whole thing, which I sprinkled in the opening of this, is this modern fairy tale, I think. I think that it is like this Snow White and the Seven Dwarves equivalent, but all of the fairy tales that we know are set in, like, a mythological 1500s or 1800s and a medieval sort of thing, where this is like a modern fairy tale of, like, a man that does not love himself discovering love through finally finding that, like, 1 in a million people that sees him for who he is, and that almost the luck and the sentimentality in the chance that their paths cross and this love sort of saves them both is a modern fucking fairy tale.
That's a really nice way to put it, man. Fucking hell.
And that's where the
fairy tale, the good stuff.
That's where the dreaminess and everything comes from. Also, with it being quite short, also sort of aims to that. There's a big bad villain that sort of has his ivory tower in the distance that he sits upon, and then the knight eventually goes there to slay the king and the dragon and stand up, and then he gets the princess in the end. Like that's what it is. It's Oh my god, I fucking love this movie.
It's so fucking good. Oh my god. Hey, speaking of the villain, do we want to talk about one of the most arguably fucking most uncomfortable scenes in the movie? You know, the infamous phone call, Rhys.
Oh, take it away. Take it away.
Oh, dear God. So having already watched this movie, I was dreading the phone when they would include the because there's a subplot in this movie where he's getting extorted by a bunch of criminals after calling a sex hotline. The scene of him on the phone with the quote unquote sex worker, because clearly it's just a front to extort money from people. It is so fucking uncomfortable to watch because you are it is all done in like pretty much one take from what I remember. It doesn't break away, and we just see kind of he's not even calling the hotline to get any kind of really for the sexual aspect. He's just calling just because he needs someone to talk. He wants someone to talk to, needs someone to talk to, and figures that this is the best I can do. And you can see that he's just, that he kind of wants to break away, but then doesn't because he's like, I don't have anyone else to talk to, so I'm just going to keep this going. And just the fact that there's no cuts, it is, oh my God, I love the scene, but I hate it. And then we just go into later on when he's getting just extorted for money. Oh my God, it is so uncomfortable to watch, man.
What I find so uncomfortable about that whole phone sex thing coming into his life is that he never opens up, right? Like, this is a man that presents a mask, shell of himself as he leaves his house every day. And him calling this phone sex line is sort of the first moment that we see him be vulnerable, and he opens up just to talk to someone, and he's so cautious about it being a safe space. He keeps on asking, like, this is confidential, right? No one will find out about this. This is confidential. No one is going to actually see that I'm a vulnerable person, right? And when he makes himself vulnerable, he gets fucking taken for a ride and taken advantage of in the first time that he opens up, and it hurts so much because
oh my God,
he shows his weak spot. He shows his weak spot, and his whole life is based around protecting it. He finally opens it up, and then someone goes in there with a hatchet to take advantage of him. And,
oh my God, it's fucked. They took his safe. They took away his safety net kind of thing. Like he exposed himself and he gets stepped on for it. It's so fucked.
And it's like, no wonder he is the way that he is that every time that it feels like that he would open up, then this happens. He goes him going to the party with his sisters, right? That is him.
Oh my God.
That is him going to make himself a little bit vulnerable. Like, okay, I'm going to go to this party, I'm going to go to this social situation, I'm going out in the open. And they all fucking berate him, and they call him gay boy, and they're overwhelming him with all this stuff. And
what about the scene where he's talking to one of the brother-in-law? He's opening up to the brother-in-law saying that he doesn't like himself and starts crying kind of asking about, therapy despite him not being a therapist. And then the next, and he's like, and starts crying, begging not to tell anyone about this. And then literally the next scene, it's revealed that, one of the sisters is like, "Oh, you asking about therapy?" Like,
you're right.
Another example of like trying to open up and just getting fucking spat on for it. It's fucked, man. It's so sad to watch.
At every turn, he's like a beaten dog, and that's like why he lives this life of solitary. Because every time that he goes to open up, it's not reciprocated. And oh my God! And then, but when he opens up to Lena, he loses nothing from it. And it's he
loses nothing, gains everything.
Oh, completely. Fuck. And you just like, this phone sex hotline thing sort of goes on in the background for a lot of the movie. Like, he's just trying to avoid it. And then it falls back into his life, and his worlds collide when he's like driving Lena in his car, and then the criminals smash into his car and like hurt Lena.
God, yeah.
And fuck, it's heartbreaking because it's the same thing. It's the same thing of like, oh my God, destruction is coming again from you opening up to the world. And
but it's not. But this time it's even more fucked up because not only is like destruction coming his way yet again, but it's now affecting someone that he has let into his life, which is what spurs him to go on his quest for vengeance near the end of the film.
Yeah,
like springs him into action. Yeah.
Oh my god! Yes.
I just remembered like the sequence in Hawaii when he's on the phone to his sister and just like full on just freaking out at them. Oh, bro, that shit. Oh, like him screaming, like from what I remember, he was like, "Fuck you! You can't talk to me like this. Why are you doing this to me?" Kind of thing, like that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then
like,
threatens to kill her.
Oh dear God! Like, oh God! Just watching that, I'm just like, not the threatening to kill someone, but like, you know, there's just like moments where you're like talking to someone, whether it be on the phone or there's just that one person that you just constantly like at odds with. You know, you love them, but you're at odds with them, and then there's just that moment sometimes where you just break and you're just like, what the fuck? You can't talk to me like this. You're blah 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 blah, and then you know, oh God, it's hard to watch, man. Hard to watch is all I'll say.
Too close to home.
This whole movie, mate. Whole movie too close to home. I'll tell you what.
Oh,
not the sex hotline stuff, but yes, too close to home.
Probably the funniest scene I think in the whole movie is when Barry, after the first date with Barry and Lena, and Barry walks Lena to her apartment, and you can see that she wants to be kissed. And you can just see how nervous Barry is, and he of course wants it, but then he just doesn't make a move. He doesn't do it. Yeah. And he like and like Lena is like trying to go in for a kiss, and he like awkwardly avoids it. And then when and he says something like "bye bye now" or like it's something lame like that. Yeah. And then
oh God.
And then walks down the hallway and just starts repeating to himself, "bye bye now."
Yeah.
Bye bye now.
Mate.
Bye now, you fucking motherfucker, you fucking piece of shit, dumb fuck.
Who hasn't had a moment like that, bro? Like, that is like one of the most, like, that is such like a universal scene right there where everyone has gone through a moment like that, whether it be with a person that you're interested in and that you fumble, or just any kind of thing where you're just like, what? Yeah, good job. Why the fuck would you say that, you idiot, kind of thing?
Exactly.
Because also one thing I will say is that because this film's built as like a romantic comedy, I don't find this film funny at all, apart from a couple scenes. But like that is definitely the highlight, one of the funniest scenes in the movie. My God, man,
so relatable, so relatably painful.
I love it so much. Fucking hell. Oh my God. And then we got like the sequence of like running back to go to her apartment to kiss her and forgetting which apartment it is, running all over the place. Oh, it's great stuff. It's so great.
That feels like such a fairy tale moment, right? There's like there's like cartoon sound effects in this that completely breaks the like suspension of disbelief in this world sort of thing. But it's like and the hallways of this apartment building just feels like this enigmatic like labyrinth, and you can feel how lost and his desperation of that he got a second chance. And he's not fucking it up this time. And wow, do you feel it when he gets back to her apartment and they have that kiss, and it's so intense. And
wonderful.
Yeah, and you know what I thought about too is that this is probably Barry's first kiss.
Oh, yeah. Oh, probably, man. Probably.
So
oh, my God.
So he 10 times more than if we fucked this up would be kicking himself when he first messes up the kiss. Because he's like, I literally had my first kiss in front of me and I messed it up. Do you have that? Do you have a memory of messing up your first kiss? Like you saw it in front of you, but you didn't go for it?
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
I did. I 100% did.
Yeah.
Haunted me for years.
Yeah, same here. It didn't haunt me for years because I eventually did get my first kiss maybe like a couple months later, but right before getting with my first girlfriend, there was a moment where it looked like it was like the moment was there, but I was just like, Anyways, like, just kept fucking talking type shit. And I remember getting home and I'm just like, fucking hell, man, why?
Yeah.
And
beat up a bathroom, smashed mirrors, you're doing the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, I was never allowed at that house again after smashing the mirror.
And then the kiss never happened, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Well, in an alternate reality, yes, sir. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Mine was year 8 camp. I was in one of the cabins, just me and my girlfriend at the time. We hadn't kissed yet. We're playing Candy Crush on her bed, and it's just sort of silence because I want to kiss her, she wants to kiss me, but I just don't do it. And it's almost 5 minutes of silent Candy Crush playing because the tension is so much there in the room. And then we hear them calling out, the dinner's ready, and it's like, oh, okay then, let's go to dinner. And at dinner, I'm just there, you fucking piece of shit motherfucker. You like doing all the Barry things of just like, you absolute idiot.
God.
But
that has definitely been the case for me in like most of the relationships I've been with before actually getting with my the girlfriends. There's always been that moment where the moment to kiss is there, but like I would always just be like, okay, I gotta go, or like, oh yeah, something else happens kind of thing, and then I'd be like walking home and I'd just be like, God, you fucking idiot, good job, mate. Oh my God, I remember one of the girls I dated, right before we started dating, when I said goodbye, we shook hands, and I wore, and I'll
the most romantic of bodily contact.
I know, right? This is like our second date as well. Shake hands, and I'm walking out, and I'm just like, nah, it's over. It's so fucking over, mate. Oh, you fucked it, mate. Oh my days.
That's like
didn't, but yeah. Oh my God.
That's like I was flirting with a girl at Sydney Film Festival last year. And I was sort of getting a vibe from her, and I was going to ask for her Instagram, and then I asked for her LinkedIn instead.
Oh my God.
And no one has ever had sex after adding each other on LinkedIn. I'm just going to say that. It doesn't happen. It's a physical impossibility. So, unsurprisingly, nothing happened there.
If anyone would like to prove Rhys wrong and you actually did get laid from exchanging LinkedIn accounts, please let us know. Please hit us up and tell us your story. But yeah.
It is the biggest cock block that one could give to themselves, I believe.
I'm sure I could think of better ways, but nah.
Fair. Okay. Back to Punch Drunk Love. An element that I really resonated with was Barry's obsession with the pudding coupon. I loved that shit. I thought it was so interesting because a lot of this movie is sort of based around him finding this exploit in the supermarket business, right? And it's so odd and strange, but it's such a specific thing that I think makes him feel like he has control over his life. And that's why it resonates so much with him. And I was like, oh, there's such a Rhys moment right here because I'm obsessed with like going to supermarkets to find their reduced quick sale, like just before expiry things. And
such a Rhys-coded moment, love it.
Yeah, that was my real like identifying with Barry moment because I have
that's where you felt seen.
I have exactly. PTA gets me and he gets my supermarket addiction. I have fucking roots here in Sydney where I know like I'll try this particular Woolies and then go to this particular Coles because they have good reduced sections and they have good quick sale items. I have like a tiering system. There's certain Woolworths I won't go to because I know their discounts fucking terrible for quick sale reduced stuff. So that was a big Barry moment for me.
Beautiful. Can I just say, speaking of the whole coupon stuff, I love that little scene where he's with Louis Guzman and just fucking like doing that little awkward dance in the shop. I love it. I've had so many of those kind of moments where I'm doing something that's like that I'm like obsessing with, or that just is bringing me joy, and I'm just doing like this like nice little dance, or just like a nice like happy movement kind of thing. Like that is just like there's just something about that scene where I'm just looking at Barry just dancing around all awkwardly, and I love it. It had the biggest fucking smile on my face, dude. Like, oh my god.
It's the happiest you see him in the movie. It's the freest you see him in the movie. And it's because you can see that he feels so proud of himself in that moment.
Yeah.
And this is a guy completely devoid of pride. Like, completely. And it's so heartwarming to see this happening. So integral.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's so fucking good.
And it's almost the stepping stone that he needs to start making this action happen with Lena. And it is what, like, sort of... It is the catalyst that then gets him to go to Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
And
yes,
like
it is.
And you think that he's been defeated when he calls up the company to redeem his frequent flyer points to get his ticket to Hawaii, and they're like, oh no, we have to process, it's like 15 business days or something to process these.
Yeah.
And he's there fighting it because he finally felt like that he had control, and then he calls up this hotline and they're like, no, actually, you have to wait because the rules are saying this. God. And that's all. And he's like, why? Yeah. Why do you have to follow these rules? And they're like, it's because they're the rules. And the power is taken away from him again. But then what's so important is that he goes to Hawaii anyway. He goes anyway.
He for once does not let the powers that be, or just the rules of that have been thrown into his life, take a hold of him anymore. He finally is able to kind of wriggle out of this chokehold that this shit has in his life. He finally is able to actually takes agency and does something just completely out of left field in terms of his normal kind of routine life kind of thing, you know?
He goes, you know what? I'm in charge of my life, so I'm gonna go anyway. Mm-hmm. And dude, I've been thinking about this a lot recently with adulthood and growing up, and I think that one of the integral moments that transitions you from a kid to an adult is when you realize that you're in control of your own life. You're in charge, and it's all up to you to make the shit that you want happen. And that happens to Barry here, and you're like, fuck yeah, he's growing up. Oh, so good.
Oh, fuck it. It's lovely. It's so lovely.
One of my favorite songs in this movie is this one that goes, he needs me, 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 he needs me. And that song starts to play when it's sort of like the romantic climax occurs when Barry is going to Hawaii and finally sort of going to consummate this romance with Lena. And the moment when they embrace in Hawaii for the first time. Those 20 seconds or something, so dense, so densely meaningful. And I've always liked this moment, but only on the most recent time that I watched it, I sort of, like, it felt like that it made sense to me. Do you have much of a reading of this moment? And this is, just to clarify, this is the one where they finally see each other again, and Barry is walking up to her, and he has his arm out to shake her hand, and she's like so excited, running to him, and then they embrace and cuddle, and he unexpectedly gets a kiss from her, and they passionately kiss, but they just kiss as silhouettes. And in this moment, there's all these people that so quickly, it's like, it's so weirdly like mystical in the way that it's like someone in a wheelchair goes past, and a bicycle, and people walking quickly and methodically as then there's the beach in the horizon in the distance behind them, and they're all part of a silhouette with these people of all different sort of paths of life. Do you have what did you feel in this moment?
I guess one, I want to say that it's like one of the best shots I've ever seen in a movie. Like, my fucking god, gorgeous, obviously. But the way that I like to read is that it's almost that as the world goes, the world is going by, but that doesn't matter to them. What matters to them right now is this moment. Embracing each other. Nothing else matters. Life may go on, but what the only thing that they care about is this moment of them embracing each other. That's kind of my like that's how I felt when I had rewatched the scene, and what I think when I look back on the scene. Do you have anything different?
I feel like the first few times that I watched it, I very much had a similar sort of understanding. But on this most recent watch, something that like really struck me about it was that these are two outsiders and weirdos in the world that feel like they don't fit in anywhere. And I felt like that in this moment, as they're kissing and they just become silhouettes with the rest of the world, that they feel like normal people for the first time when they're doing this. Okay. Like that they're experiencing what it's like to be a normal person that they've been sort of looking for the longest time. And that really, really hit hard to me. It was beautiful, and all the noise went away. It's like their moment of quiet together.
Yeah, okay.
So
that's
fucking good.
That's a nice other way of reading it. That's fucking good, man. Fuck yeah.
And I think that also why Lena was so excited also to see him is because she was so proud of him breaking out of this pattern. And coming to Hawaii, making that effort and seeing that he is sort of flourishing. So she's like, I want in on this. I am such adoration of this. And then after this, they like have this romantic evening, and they go back to Lena's room in like the hotel, and they sleep together. And in the morning, we see Barry in this bathrobe. First moment that we see him outside of his blue suit, I believe. And he opens up. He doesn't lie about the trip. He just lets himself, like, he literally strips the layers of protection of himself. And, fucking beautiful.
It's a proper moment. It really is just a proper moment of vulnerability for Barry, where where there's like no sign of fear in his eyes or in his like physical movements, body language or whatever. Like we just see him kind of letting go of all that he fears and just living in the moments where he is just lying in bed in that bathrobe, just he wasn't I think the moments during that scene where he's just kind of just blankly staring at her without saying anything says so much, man. Like, oh my fucking days, with a little hint of a smile going on, and like almost like you can kind of get a vibe of this like excitement and euphoria of this like this very foreign, I'm assuming very foreign feeling that he is experiencing for the first time probably ever. Oh my, it's so like I've noticed I've been saying oh my god a lot, but like that's like a perfect way to kind of just describe my experience with this film, and just thinking about it, it's just like oh my god, this is just absolute perfection, you know? Like fucking hell.
Totally. You're right that this is so unfamiliar and unique. We're seeing a different person now. We're seeing a metamorphosis of this person. It's and those are great character studies, right? Where you really see and feel that they change. And after
without them having to say it, without them having to outright say it, you know, like they just let the silence do the talking sometimes, you know?
Yeah, and like the things that Barry does at the end of the movie, the Barry that we see at the start of the movie would have never done this. After Hawaii, he calls he finds the address for the Mattress King, or like the Mattress Man, and goes to finally stand up for himself. Yeah. And, and you can feel his strength. You can fucking feel his strength when he goes and he confronts the Mattress Man. It's so good. It's
fucking great. You know, one thing that I was kind of thinking about that like I want to mention is that the scene, like it's almost like the way that I like to kind of think about it is that like especially the scene where he fully physically confronts the Mattress Man, Philip Seymour Hoffman, is that it's almost like he's full on confronting the demons and insecurities in a physical manifestation almost, where he is no longer when he full on says like I have a love in my life and that makes me more powerful than you can possibly imagine. That's like, obviously he's talking to the Mattress King, but like it's almost like he's talking to himself in that scene. His darker side, the person that he was at the start of the movie, he's talking to this side of himself and finally telling them, no, you don't control me. I am more than what you think I am, kind of thing, you know?
Oh, he tells it to himself. And he finally believes it. It's so fucking potent.
Oh my god!
And Philip Seymour Hoffman as the Mattress King, is the Mattress King or Mattress Man?
I feel like Mattress Man. It could be either one. Honestly.
I think it's Mattress King, but it's what Barry calls him Mattress Man. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah. Probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah, and I feel like he is such a good villain in this fairy tale because the modern fairy tale villain is the uber capitalist, right? That is the king. He is literally the Mattress King. He's the king of the castle. And then this knight that was weak and didn't believe in himself is finally standing up to the king and letting and reclaiming his fucking control over his own life again. And Philip Seymour Hoffman isn't even in this movie for that much. He's only in a couple of scenes and really does carry so much weight here.
Oh yeah, mate, he makes his fucking presence well known. Fucking hell, dude. Oh,
he really oozes this modern grossness of of just drunk with modern power. So
completely. Oh dear God, yeah.
And because through Barry's job where he's working at a novelty plunger warehouse, it's so weird and inconsequential, but is such a symbol of that. He's just a dude with a job. He's selling literally bullshit, but he's just living his life. He is just an average Joe sort of thing. And it's these drunk capitalistic kings that sort of take advantage of the little guy. And he says, and he pretty much tells himself and everyone around him that he's no longer going to be the little guy anymore. Really good. Man. Really, really fucking good.
Fucking great. My God. Also, just a shout out because that's one of the only other genuinely funny scenes of the movie is the phone call where Philip Seymour Hoffman just loses his shit. Just love it. That was my first exposure to the movie, by the way. That was before going into the movie back in 2021. I only knew about that scene, so I was expecting this pretty funny vulgar comedy and then got something completely different, something arguably so much fucking better, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's such a. I feel like that scene really reminds me of the scene of when Tom Cruise, when Frank from Magnolia.
Oh yeah, where he's tame the cunt, respect the cock or whatever it was.
Well, when he sort of breaks, when his ego has been challenged and he flips a switch. Yeah. And that's what happens. That's what happens with Mattress King here, right? Is that he's challenged, so he just explodes, and shows how vulnerable these men of power supposedly are. But how actually vulnerable they are in real life.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. I like that.
In the exploration of complementary PTA media that exists out there, there was this little sort of screen test that PTA did with Adam Sandler before this movie, and it's on YouTube. It goes for only a couple of minutes, and it's this skit of Adam Sandler going into a furniture store, and he's going around trying on all of these. He's trying all these different couches. And every time that he sits down, there's a fart sound effect that plays as he sits down on it. So it's it's not the right furniture. It's just called Adam Sandler's Couch. And it goes for 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And he finally then finds his couch that that is sort of his, and he's like, oh, okay, this is comfortable, this is all good. And then the couch sort of breaks and flips his legs up, and then they hit him in the face, and then an abundance of fart sound effects play as he sort of does the Adam Sandler weird voice and goes, why? and
I'm very happy that PTA at least got to let 2000s, well, I guess like the Adam Sandler we all know and most of us love shine through.
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite thing that I've ever seen PTA do ever. I fucking hate it.
What the fuck? I'm gonna have to watch this after we finish recording. But what the fuck is that, bro? I was gonna say like. For some reason, I was going to say, oh, it sounds like a Smosh skit. But, like, no, like, this sounds like something you would have seen in Jack and Jill or Grown-Ups. What the fuck is this garbage?
It is like Jack and Jill and Smosh had a baby, and that's what was made. But,
wonderful.
Some weird missteps have to be made to get in the right direction to make something like this. Maybe
fair
that's
enough.
it.
Fair enough. Well, maybe this was like, this was initially what PTA wanted to do. He genuinely wanted to make an Adam Sandler comedy. He was watching shit like Little Nicky and Happy Gilmore, and he was like, you know what? I want to do that. Made the 2 minute short. It was like, yeah, I don't know how to do this. Let me do the typical PTA thing by just making it really human and uncomfortable and just really, and good as well. Let me just go back to doing my own thing.
It was all just by complete accident. He accidentally fell into making this movie happen. But and then after he like stands up for himself, and it's like that he's regained his like control over his life back again. Then like Lena is upset at him because he left her in the hospital to go and do this, and what he does to like prove his sort of love to her is that he takes the harmonium to her, and I never realized this before. I only realized this in the most recent watch, is that he does this. I never realized. And him taking the harmonium to her apartment is him making himself completely vulnerable to someone, letting someone completely in, because this harmonium, I think, is his soul. I think that this is his soul, and he is giving her his soul and being like, and letting her in. And then that's why then, after that, the final scene of the film, and the final shot of the film, is him playing on the harmonium, and then her just coming behind him and giving him a hug. And then that's like him making it.
So fucking good, man. It's so fucking good.
And can you believe that on my first rewatch of this, when I was watching it with Palm, that scene happened, and I went, is that it?
I can't fathom just watching the movie and seeing that final shot and not feeling it and not feeling anything from it. Like the only feeling that you as you state, is that it? No, I'm happy. That is what a bookend. Like, mate, come on.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that I did that rewatch so that I could go, oh my god, that was not it. That was not it. All of it together is something so much more. Oh. Yeah.
Oh my god! Did she have similar thoughts to you when watching the movie?
I think that she sort of liked it, but like enjoyed her time, but was a little bit like, what was the point of that? She really didn't like. And I agreed with her in the watch with her as well. She was like, I got no character from Lena, and also thought, why does Lena even like him? And I thought that first time around as well, because I wasn't paying attention to the little nuances of their dates and seeing how lonely she is as well, and how she like fell in love with these quirks just as much as he did.
Yeah. Well, tip of the day: don't watch movies with a partner or with anyone watching in the cold, dark emptiness of your own room by yourself, guys. Take it from us.
It is the best way to watch it, and thank God that I watched Magnolia by myself, because And that that would have been that would have been a fucking like nightmare to watch and not really get anything out of it, sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh my dear God. You probably you might have been on the same boat as I was for the movie. Who knows?
Yeah. But in her defense, though, I think that it is because of how much I like her, and then being distracted just by her being around.
Yeah.
And nothing against her as a whole.
Well, that's always kind of. That's something that like is kind of a given a lot of the times when you're watching a film with a partner. Like you're watching it, but then you're also just like, you're putting your attention aside to just focus on your partner. You're just like enamored with them. You're enjoying your time together. Maybe like cracking a joke during the movie, kind of thing. Like that's an experience that like I would have a lot of the times when watching a movie with a partner, kind of thing. I'm watching it, but then I'm also not watching it because I'm just enjoying the time with this person that I'm with. You know what I mean? Like, well, no, of course you know what I mean. Why do I even have to ask that?
Yeah, no, totally, I get you. Did you have any final remarks about this movie? Anything that you wanna leave the listeners with about Punch Drunk Love, this movie that seemed to really impact you?
At the end of the day, Punch Drunk Love, the way that I like to interpret it is that it's a film about broken, lonely people finding love, companionship, and also, most importantly, peace in a world that a lot of the times doesn't allow it, but when it's found can be extremely beautiful and comforting. And now that we've found love, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to go find some oil. Have a good night. Catch you guys next week.
And don't forget to check out our Facebook page at MarathonMeOfficial, all one word, and our Instagram, MarathonMe_official, to keep up to date on the podcast. And hey, if you want to get into contact with us, email us at marathonmepodc, yes, the letter C, @gmail.com. Like podcast without the ask.